Hey everyone, it's Epoch here, and welcome to my entry into this week's comic book cover challenge set by Alan, the comic collector geek. This week's theme is word bubbles on covers. So any comic book cover that has a word bubble on it, whether it's a speech bubble or a thought bubble and containing text. So your favourite covers featuring word bubbles. So I've dove into my personal comic book collection and picked out 10 covers that I like that have word bubbles on. So let's take a look. First up this week is Betty Page #1, which is a cover by Terry and Rachel Dodson. I just thought this was quite a funny one to start off with because we have this a word bubble balloon here at the bottom, and it's just got one word in it. It just says "wow" with a big exclamation mark at the end. Just because we have kind of Betty Page here, kind of looks like she's been caught in the headlights of a truck there, just surprised. And the person who's seen her and startled her is just like wow, because he's kind of enamored by her beauty. So yeah, I thought it was just quite a funny one to start off with. This is a homage cover to Dave Stevens' piece as well, so you might see this in a homage challenge at some point. But yeah, just a fun one to start off with Betty Page #1. Next up this week is Star Trek Lower Decks #1, and this is a cover B. And here we have quite a humorous scene with Ensign Mariner and Ensign Boimler there on the cover, and Ensign Mariner's kind of fired our Type 2 phaser there by accident and kind of vaporized Boimler's uniform there, which is quite funny. And here we have the dialogue box where she's like, what did she say? She says, I guess this one had a little power left, which is quite funny. Just to be kind of funny Star Trek one, because it's not often you get kind of humorous Star Trek on this level, at least in the comics. So yeah, just a fun one there. So Star Trek Lower Decks #1. In at #8 this week is Batman #330, which is a cover that always makes me smile. Here we have Batman and Robin getting into a bit of a fight here over this woman here, and it says in a dialogue, "That woman's destroying you, Batman, and you won't admit it. Either she goes or I do." And then Batman says quite funnily, "The door is that way, chum, and goodbye." That just always makes me laugh. I just think this is a great bit of dialogue because this is when Batman comics were getting more serious, but it still shows they can still have that kind of fun and humor that they had in previous decades. So yeah, it's just a fun Batman cover and quite a humorous dialogue there for the word balloons. So that's Batman at #330. Next up this week, we have Red Sonja and Vampirella meet Betty and Veronica #2. And this is cover D, which is the Dan Parent variant cover. Dan Parent's one of my kind of favourite modern Archie artists. And here on the cover, we have Vampirella and Red Sonja kind of walking down the corridor of the high school there in their kind of regular kind of comic book kind of outfits. You've got Betty here commenting, saying they really need to do something about the dress code around here, which is quite funny because obviously you've got like Archie in the background there just kind of peeping on Red Sonja and Vampirella, and I'm sure they've got all the other boys looking at them too. So it's just quite a funny cover there for featuring Red Sonja and Vampirella with the kind of funny text in the word bubble. So that's Red Sonja and Vampirella meet Betty and Veronica #2. In sixth place this week, we have She Return of the Warrior, which is one of the more recent She stories by Bella Tucci for his Indiegogo and Kickstarter campaigns. So this is the variant cover by Amanda Connor. And I just thought this was quite a unique one in the sense that it's very rare to see a She cover with a word bubble on it. I can't think of any others off the top of my head, so that's why I wanted to include this one. It's quite a funny one as well, because this is the Amanda Connor variant. Amanda Connor, of course, one of my favourite artists, but saying this point of She's story, she's a bit older and she has her daughter here. And she has to kind of come back into action, so she's changing into her old outfit, which is embarrassing her daughter. And her daughter saying, or not even her daughter, she's saying rather, "Don't oh God, mum, me. You're partially responsible for this," because she's so embarrassed to see her mum in that outfit. So it's quite a funny one. I think it's quite a funny one anyway. So that's She Return of the Warrior, Amanda Connor variant. In fifth place this week is Jetta Ray Adventures #1, which is another comic backed via Indiegogo. I think the third issue is currently funding or is about to start funding, which is fun. So because this is a fun series and this is a fun cover as well with a kind of word bubble. So it's these kind of humorous scenes you get with these kind of books, which is really good. So This is from Totally Galactic Comics, and here on the cover we have Jetta and our friend here kind of space surfing, and they're getting along fine, and then he's like, "Oh, space surfing is super galactic, huh? Jetta, Jetta," because she doesn't respond, of course, because she's been hit by this flaming meteor right here, and she's off balance on our galactic surfboard, and she's kind of flailing for help. So it's and I guess another quite funny one, a humorous one. I guess the best kind of word bubble covers are the ones that are quite humorous. So you'll see a lot of these in this video this week. So yeah, that's Jetta Ray Adventures #1. Next up this week is Gen 13 #45, and again this is quite another humorous one. This is I believe the issue where Scott Lobdell takes over as the writer. So in the story they are visiting this lingerie fashion show, and there's all these supermodels here. And something goes awry, and all the supermodels are on attack. So you hear them here in the background with all their weapons and stuff. And then there's a kind of Fairchild, I guess, here in the foreground who's part of the show and been possessed. And we've got a guy saying, "Help, but take your time," as if to say, like, "Oh, I need help because I'm getting attacked by all these kind of beautiful supermodels, but at the same time, I want you to take your time so I can enjoy it a little bit," which is quite funny to me. So that's the cover of Gen 13 #45. And at #3 this week is Harley Quinn Volume 3 #19, and this one is a different take on the kind of word bubbles on the cover as well. Most of the ones I've shown so far have been like a humorous joke or part of the story. Whereas this one's a bit more interactive. Here we have Harley Quinn on the cover. This is another great cover by Amanda Connor. But we have Harley Quinn on the cover, kind of peeling up the cover itself to expose classic Harley underneath, because at the time, starting with issue 17, there was a backup story featuring kind of like the classic Harley. And then classic Harley saying to modern Harley, "Hey, you gotta wait till page 15 to read my backup story, just like everybody else," which is I think is quite funny as well, just because it's like kind of breaking the wall between the stories with modern Harley and classic Harley, and it's just kind of a fun thing for the kind of viewer or reader to see this kind of the way the cover's been done. So it's just a really fun one. So that's Harley Quinn Volume 3 #19. In second place this week is the Sensational SheHulk #39, which is a fun cover with She-Hulk here. Of course, this series of She-Hulk, famously on most of the covers, She-Hulk is breaking the fourth wall and talking directly to the reader. So there's a lot of good kind of humour throughout these issues. And as Alan pointed out in his video, it's a shame that the She-Hulk series never used that style of humour, because it would have been perfect otherwise. But unfortunately, we got what we got. So Alan did show a couple of She-Hulk issues in his original challenge video. If you want to check that out, he showed issue 1, which is quite an iconic one. I also showed that last week as part of the Pink Covers challenge, which you can check out in the playlist at the end of the video. And he also showed number 40, which is one of the more famous ones, which is the issue after this one. But this one's still a great one. With issue 39, we've got She-Hulk being held by this guy here, and she's kind of in a skimpy bikini, and she's saying, "Don't get the wrong idea. I'm only doing this because it makes a good cover," and it does make a good cover because everyone loves good girl art covers. At least I do anyway. So it's just a really fun She-Hulk one where she breaks the fourth wall like she does through most of this series. So that's the Sensational SheHulk #39. And my #1 pick this week is Betty and Veronica #38, which is just a great Betty and Veronica cover. This is from 1958, and it's the earliest Betty and Veronica issue I have in my collection. I just picked this up recently. I had it on my Instagram, which is just the same as my YouTube name if you want to check me out in there. But yeah, it's just a list that has word bubbles or a word bubble challenge wouldn't be complete without books from the kind of Archie series. And we have seen some on the list already, but this is just a great one, and I just really love this cover. Like I said, I picked it up recently. But yeah, I'll just read the dialogue. It's just a fun one. So you've got kind of Betty here, kind of sodden in her bathing suit there, and she's saying, "A fine pair of lifeguards you two are. I almost drowned out there, and neither one of you even looked at me." And we have kind of Archie and Reggie there just looking at her like, okay, because they're paying attention to Veronica. Veronica's smiling to herself and thinking, she's laughing, saying, I always said she couldn't get a man to save her life," which is quite funny for the situation. Just really love this cover. I love all these early Archie books, the Golden Age ones. So I'm going to try and get more of those. So that's Betty and Veronica, number 38. So that was my entry into this week's comic book cover challenge set by Alan the Comic Collector Geek. This week's theme was, of course, word bubble covers. So any covers that feature word bubbles, speech bubbles or thought bubbles, just to have words on that. Word bubbles on covers that you think are cool and want to show off. So if you want to enter this week's challenge, then just make a video by picking 10 comics from your personal comic book collection that feature word bubbles that you think are pretty cool. You just make a video and use the hashtag WB covers and hashtag Friday Comic Challenge, and that way everyone who takes part in these challenges can click on those hashtags, check out your video, see what cool stuff you have, and you never know, we might want to add these cool books to our own collections. And likewise, if you check out other people's videos, you might see some cool stuff that you want to add to your collection. There's quite a lot of people taking part in these challenges now from when it first began, which is really cool to see. So many cool covers every week, so it'll be great to see even more as the challenges grows. And again, thanks to Alan for shouting my channel out and everyone else's channel out in the last video, and of course thanks to him for continuing to do these great challenges that let us kind of look for our collections and see some cool stuff that we might not have seen in a while. If you'd like to check out some of my previous entries into the comic book cover challenge, then please click on this playlist that's linked here at the side, and otherwise I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.